What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back to my banner review series for Fire Emblem Heroes. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Nohrian Dusk Banner, which features Ophelia, Flora, Nina and Silas, and these are the topics I'm going to be discussing in this video. So let us begin.
Take this maiden seriously!
Ophelia is an offensive nuke with really high attack, and she also has a super boon in attack, so if you get her with plus attack IVs, then she's gonna be having 41 base attack, which is pretty insane for a mage. Her speed is really awkward where it can be salvaged, and you could definitely make her into a speedy unit if you invest into that, but it also does not hurt to decrease because a lot of times Ophelia can just one-shot things with her high attack, and with the help of stuff like chill resistance and with her special. She comes with Mistletoe, which is her personal weapon from Fates, and it does have the sling effect, giving her the -1 special cooldown, and at start of turn 1, she gets -1 special cooldown for each magical ally on your team, including Ophelia. Now when this description says that magical allies are needed, it means only mages. Staff units and dragons do not work with this effect. If any of you are curious, they do magical damage but they are not counted with the effect of this weapon, so you will need to run some mages with her. And even if you do not run a single mage on your team with Ophelia, you will still get -1 cooldown because it does count Ophelia with its effect. So basically you will get a quick impulse effect for free even if you did not have any sort of mage on your team other than Ophelia. This tome is really nice and makes for really fun builds, especially because it allows Ophelia to abuse specials and also abuse a skill like Special Spiral, which is definitely really potent with her really high attack. She comes with Rally Up Attack Plus, which is a power crept version of a rally skill. It gives +6 attack to the target ally and allies within 2 spaces of that target for 1 turn. It's absolutely insane, giving like +6 attack buff to a lot of units at the same time just by using a rally skill. And she also has Blazing Light as a special, which just makes sense with her light theme, and she can definitely abuse this with Mistletoe. If you just have 2 magical allies, then she will have her AoE special ready at start of turn 1, which is definitely really insane. Because of Mistletoe's effect, this is a 3-turn cooldown special, and Ophelia can be a really good user of AoE specials. Her slotty skill is Sturdy Blow, which is so weird, and I'm not sure why they gave her this because she does not have salvageable defense, and this does not work out with her AoE special because AoE specials do not count in combat buffs like from Sturdy Blow into the damage calculation, so it definitely is not really the best slotty skill that Ophelia can have, but for a budget I guess it's fine. She also has Chill Resistance, and she's the only summonable unit with this skill, and Chill Resistance definitely helps Ophelia a lot because she is a nuke. And for her IV's attack boon is of course really good because it is a super boon, meaning that you get +4 instead of +3, and speed boon is also pretty good if you want to go with a speedy build. And for her banes, any bane is fine as long as it's not -attack IV. -attack definitely hurts her the most, and even -speed is salvageable because she can still one-shot units, so definitely save your attack, and any kind of bane is fine on her for the most part. And overall she's a really powerful nuke who can abuse specials with Mistletoe, and she can spam AoE specials, but unfortunately to unlock her max potential with infinite AoE specials you will need Special Spiral skill, which is definitely pretty expensive, but nonetheless Ophelia is definitely a powerful and a fun unit to use. If you do get extra Ophelias, you could definitely fodder her off for the Rally Up Attack Plus, which is a 400 SP assist skill, which you could definitely use for arena scoring, and you could just give it to your arena core members who are support units like Corin and Marth, and Titania can also run that with her Weapon Refine in order to give +6 to all of the stats of an ally. If you don't really care about arena that much and this assist skill, then you can definitely fodder her off for Chill Resistance. And here are some good recipients of Chill Resistance. Obviously Reinhardt is a really good one because he has got a Brave Tome, but you don't necessarily need to run Chill Res on his slot, but you could just have that on any of the teammates like a support unit, and Reinhardt can still get the benefit of Chill Res. And Chill Res's -7 debuff is huge for a Brave Tome user like Reinhardt, and you can also run this on high attack Blade Tome units like female Morgan who don't really have the speed to run Desperation, so they can run Chill Resistance instead on their slot B and nuke with that Blade Tome and Death Blow. And finally we have got a really high attack unit like Sanaki who's also a nuke. She can also really appreciate the -7 debuff from Chill Res, and her slot B is rather flexible, so she could definitely afford to run this. And for getting the benefits of chill resistance, you don't necessarily need to run this on that unit itself. You could still just run that on any ally who has got a free slot B or who's a support unit, and you can still get the benefit. But still, these were some of the examples of the units who really appreciate the chill rest debuff.
Luminary Uppercut!
Ophelia's first build is a budget one, and like I said, Sturdy Blow isn't really all that good because she does not really have enough defense to make it worth it running that skill. So you could definitely run Death Blow 3 for max damage output. And Glimmer is pretty good on her because it's a 1-turn cooldown special, and even if you do not run any Tome ally on her, she will have Glimmer ready at start of turn 1, and you'll be able to nuke something with your turn 1 Glimmer. The second build is definitely the most optimal build you could run on Ophelia because she can abuse Special Spiral really well with the help of Mistletoe, and it's really easy to set up as well with her Tome. And Life and Death is preferred with this build because AoE specials do not count in combat buffs like Death Blow or Sturdy Blow into the damage calculation, so that's why you have to run Life and Death. And when her AoE special is charged up, it will never be fatal, and you will be able to get one hit on the enemy to finish them off, and that will put you at 2 cooldown, and then Special Spiral is gonna kick in and give you -2 cooldown. So essentially you're gonna be having infinite AoE nukes, which is definitely pretty incredible. And the reason why it works out so well on Ophelia is because it's really easy to set up the AoE special with her Mistletoe effect by increasing magical allies or by running stuff like Quick and Pulse, and the fact that she has got a permanent -1 cooldown in her Mistletoe as a sling effect definitely helps her a lot. Now you can definitely run Hardy Bearing Sacred Seal to bypass the Vantage units, which can be annoying, and Vantage is definitely the thing which stops a lot of the AoE Special Spiral build, so you could run Hardy Bearing to bypass that. But if you do not face a lot of Vantage units, then you can just run Quick Pulse to set up your Special Spiral much easily, or even something like Attack +3. But the only thing is that this build is really expensive. And her third build is a speedy build. Now like I said before, her speed can be salvaged and she can be made into a speedy unit, and because of Mistletoe she can always trigger Glimmer in the Desperation range. But the thing is that speedy Ophelia does miss out on some one-shots because this build does not have Death Blow, does not have Chill Res, and does not abuse AoE specials with something like Special Spiral. But if you like to have a speedy Ophelia, then this is definitely an option.
Service with a smile.
Flora is a red dagger unit boasting highest resistance in the game at base, and she does have pretty good base attack for a dagger unit at base 34. Unfortunately, she's extremely slow, so she's gonna get doubled by pretty much everyone. And because of her high resistance, she can run ploy skills incredibly well and provide ploy utility to your team. She does have a super bane in defense and HP, which you should avoid because it does reduce her bulk and overall hurts her with the role she's trying to do, so definitely try to avoid these super banes. She comes with Hoarfrost's Knife, which is a legendary weapon, and it wasn't really present in Fates, but in Heroes it gives you -1 special cooldown, and if she initiates combat against a sword, lance, axe, or a dragon unit, then she gets +20 defense in the player phase, and if they can counter attack with something like Lightning Breath or Distant Counter, then she will be getting a guaranteed follow-up attack, which is pretty insane with her low speed. And after combat, of course, just like a lot of dagger units, she can inflict -7 defense and -7 res on target and foes within 2 spaces. So this effect definitely is pretty nice for her niche because she has pretty high resistance, and with the +20 defense, she essentially has perfect mixed bulk at 38 defense and 38 resistance in the player phase, and that pretty much mitigates adaptive damage of the dragons that she's going to be targeting. And she's able to counter a lot of the distant counter units that are present in Arena. Now she is a dagger unit, so she's not going to be scoring well in Arena because of the BST, but if you plus and merge her, or if you just want to use her for Arena Assault, then she is incredibly powerful because of this effect. And she comes with Attack Res Solo, which is a new slotted skill, and it gives her +6 resistance and +6 attack in combat if she's not adjacent to an ally. So basically, do not have to be beside an ally if you want to get this boost in combat, and this does work in both phases, which makes this skill extremely powerful, and it is not really the hardest skill to proc, so this is a really strong line of skills that we have got. And Flora uses this really well because she is a mixed phase unit. In the player phase, she can destroy distant counter units, and in the enemy phase, she can destroy mages with the help of Quick Riposte and this skill. She comes with defense ploy, which is definitely really amazing with her high resistance, and the fact that she's going to be facing armor and dragon units who are known to have highest defenses in the game, so defense ploy definitely helps a lot. For her IVs, any boon other than speed is pretty good on her, because with plus defense and plus HP she gets to have more bulk, and with plus resistance she can be a better mate check, and she also gets more damage output with Iceberg or Glacies. Not to mention she can pretty much ploy everyone in the game who has got 40 or less resistance, and not a lot of units have got 40 resistance unless we're talking about some really min-max units like Winter Tharja at plus 10 merge. But still, plus attack IV is the best IV spread for her for getting these kills against these really bulky units like distant counter armor units and dragons. And for her Bane, minus speed is definitely the best one. Minus HP and minus defense are a super Bane, and minus attack definitely hurts her a lot. So you have to be really careful with her Bane. Minus attack is definitely the worst Bane, and minus speed is the best one and the most safest one out of all of these options. Overall, she's a really fun unit to use who excels at her job of killing distant counter units in the player phase and then being a really good magic check in the enemy phase. She's not really a broken unit per se, despite what the weapon description of her weapon might suggest to you. She's just really fun to use, and she can be really useful for Arena Assault, for taking care of these plus 10 merge armor units and these dragons who run Lightning Breath. And for in-game content, she's not really going to be facing a lot of distant counter units, so there she can be a pretty good magic check. And her red color as a dagger unit is really useful because of the abundance of green dragons and armors. As you can see by these calcs, she can absolutely destroy plus and merge green armor and dragon units, and she does not have defense ploy active, and she only has neutral attack IV, doesn't even have plus attack IV, and as you can see, she's able to be a pretty good green check in arena. And the only exception for these matchups are Myr and Omnibreaker Hector and Legendary Hector. But if Flora is able to proc defense ploy on this Myr, then she can of course defeat even a plus defense IV Myr. Now if you get multiple copies of Flora, you could definitely fodder her off for attack rest solo because the other skills are available on other units. So attack rest solo is the most coveted skill she has got. Attack rest solo is by far best used by healers because they do not really have a lot of offensive options other than attack speed push and attack speed bond, and we do not really have attack speed solo as of yet, but attack rest solo can do the job in the meantime. And for these razzle dazzle healers, it is essentially a death blow if they are away from their allies, which is not really hard to accomplish, especially if you have got someone like Veronica who's a mounted healer. It's pretty easy to get away from your allies and proc this effect, and a unit like Sanaki can also run this. An interesting thing about Sanaki's Bond Refine is that her Refine is active within 2 spaces of a flying ally, and that works out perfectly with attack res solo, which just needs you to be not adjacent to an ally. So you can stack this up with her weapon Refine and have 61 attack and 44 res and still give the attack buffs to a flying ally with Sanaki.
I have just the trick for slugabeds.
For her builds, there's not really all that much because she already comes with a premium skill set with all 3 passive skills and a pretty good special. So all you need to do is slap an assist skill on her and give her a sacred seal and call it a day. Attack plus 3 is of course really good because she's going to be facing plus and merged armor and dragon units who have got really high defense. So every bit of attack definitely helps a lot. And her next build is a special spiral build. Now this is a really expensive build, but it does work out pretty well. So it is extremely potent on any kind of unit with a slaying weapon like Flora's, and this allows Flora to trigger 35 damage Glacies in every round. In the first combat, she's going to be able to proc Glacies because of Cook and Pulse, and then after that she's going to be able to proc because of Special Spiral. This can also work in enemy phase because if Special Spiral has done its thing, then she's going to be able to retaliate back with a Glacies after she takes 1 hit. And in the player phase, of course, with her guaranteed follow-up attack against distant counter units, she can proc Glacies in 1 round and just nuke them. But still, this is a really expensive build.
I'll make them suffer.
Nina is an infantry archer with really high speed, good resistance for ploying, and she does have a rather average attack for an archer, which can be troublesome in the metagame where we have got a lot of high defense dragons and armor unit who have got distant counter. But because of her speed, she can run a really good fire sweep bow set, which she can use to initiate attack against these kinds of threats pretty safely and also abuse her ploys. We can compare her to Gaius and Setsuna. Both of these archers pretty much get outclassed by Nina offensively. She does have better attack than both of them, has the same speed and has resistance much better than them, which she can use for plying, which in my opinion is better than having more defense, which these units have compared to Nina. She comes with Shining Bow, which functions pretty similarly to Leaf's Lightbrand, and it is a pretty inconsistent weapon because it depends on the stats of the enemy. Now you could definitely control that with ploys, but only to a certain degree. So if your enemy has got 5 more defense than their res, then you'll be getting +7 damage against such enemy. And she also comes with drawback, which is really good with a link skill, but I would have preferred if she came with reposition, because reposition can be used much better offensively compared to drawback. You can use reposition to send an ally into the range of enemy pretty easily, which you couldn't really do, or at least to that extent, with drawback, so that's why. She also comes with Moonbow, which is definitely pretty nice, because she will definitely need some help in getting 1-round KOs, and this being a 2-turn cooldown special definitely helps a lot. She comes with a new link skill which does capitalize on her speed and res, which are 2 of her strongest stats, making her a pretty good magic chick if you do get this buff, and using this she can support her allies. Finally, she has got Bow Valor. I wish she had a plowing skill in Slot C over this, but Valor skills definitely help a lot in terms of grinding, and for her IVs, attack and speed are definitely the 2 best boons you can have. Even resistance is pretty good because it can increase her plowing ability. And for her Banes, minus defense is definitely the best one. Even though it is a super Bane, it doesn't really affect her arena scoring, and minus HP can also be run as a Bane, but it does hurt her magical bulk, and you shouldn't really run that if you're running her as a magic tank with something like a guard bow set. And overall, she's a pretty good fast infantry archer that can run ploys and who's really good user of Fire Sweep Bow. And if you do get extra copies of Nina, Shining Bow isn't really worth it because it's pretty inconsistent. But if you want to use her, you could definitely use her for Speed Res Link, and here are some good recipients of that. Of course, Legendary Lucina, because of having Future Vision, is an amazing user of any sort of link skill because she does not waste a turn using that as a skill because she will get refreshed by her Future Vision, and a distant counter unit like Lucina, who's really fast, can also use a skill like Speed Res Link. Not to mention she also has the Bond Falchion, which can be stacked up with this effect, and she can have pretty good speed, and you can of course use a wave skill in Slot C so that you can be even more self-sufficient with this, and something like even defense wave could definitely help her in the enemy phase.
Here's a taste.
This is a budget build for Nina, and it doesn't really take a lot of investment. Now, Resploy is definitely going to look weird on a physical unit like her, but it does work out pretty well with Shining Bow's condition, because you could reduce the res of your enemy so that they can have 5 more defense than their res, and then you get the +7 damage with your Shining Bow. Now, of course, you can use her with another magical ally that can benefit from Resploy. It's not like only Nina has to benefit from Resploy, and she has got pretty good resistance for plowing, and she can provide +9 speed support with her link skill and something like drive speed. Her next build is a Fire Sweep build, and she's an amazing user of that because of her fantastic speed. You can run a plowing skill like Speed Ploy in Slot C because getting doubles is really important with a Fire Sweep weapon, and Chill Defense in Slot B can help you with her damage output. Flashing Blade plus Moonbow does work really well for giving her more damage output, and you do get Moonbow in every round if you do double the enemy. Usually with Fire Sweep builds, people just run Life and Death because your defenses are irrelevant, because you are pretty much a sitting duck in the enemy phase. But for Nina, Fury is really nice because you do need resistance for plowing enemies, so that's why Fury is recommended. And her next build is a Mage Tank build using Guard Bow. Now, Nina is really fast, and using a Guard Bow she can get amazing amounts of resistance, and because she's so fast, it's not really easy to double her for a lot of the mages. She comes with Speed Res Link at base, which is really useful with this kind of set, and then you can run dual ploys. Her fourth build is a Brave Bow build, and she can use Fury to get into the Desperation range and also abuse ploys. And with the ploys, she can definitely have enough speed to get doubles, but the only problem is that her raw attack isn't really high enough without a boon or defense ploy to kill a lot of units in 2 hits, so a plus attack IV is definitely recommended if you want to run a Brave Bow on her. Her final build is pretty expensive one from a seasonal unit, so Fishy Bow Plus from Summer Takumi does have Desperation inbuilt, and Nina has got amazing speed to abuse that, So she can pretty much free up the slot B of her skill set and run something like Chill Defense to increase her damage output, while running Speed Ploy for getting more doubles and abusing Flashing Blade and Moonbow. But this is a really expensive set. But she's a pretty good user of Fishy Bow, so if you really like Nina, and if you've got a bad IV Summer Takumi, then this is an option which you can run on Nina.
Fall so that others may live!
Silas is an enemy phase tank with really nice min-max stats for defense and attack, but he does have low resistance and low speed, making him a food for dragons and mages. He comes with Slaying Spear by default, which is definitely good for taking on the meta-influential armor units in tier 20 and 21 arena, and this makes him a really good budget unit to be used in Arena Assault, and he has Reposition, which is the best assist skill in the game. Steady Stance and even Defense Wave do help him with this role of being an enemy phase tank, and using these two skills he can reach 48 defense, which is really nice. Now, he is looking like the obvious demotion from this banner because he only has 4 skills in his base kit compared to the 5 skills which other units have from this banner. And for his IVs, I would definitely suggest to go with attack and defense obviously. Those are 2 of his strongest stats. And for his Bane, obviously speed and res are really good. Speed being the better one in my opinion because you want to lower his speed so that he can get doubled and charge up his specials faster. And as an enemy phase tank, you definitely want to have that. So overall, he's a solid unit for a role of an enemy phase cavalier, and he's likely to get demoted, so it's gonna be easy to get the perfect IVs for him and build him up, or even use him as a merge project.
I will protect my friends!
It's really easy to build up Silas because he already comes with pretty good base skill set, so you just have to add Quick Riposte and Bonfire as a special and you're good to go. You could even run Lance Breaker and Quick Riposte Seal as an option to deal with units like Brave Hector. And for his next build, you can just run Slaying Lance over Slaying Spear, and this will give you the option of running a 3-turn cooldown Ignis, which can do massive amounts of damage in the enemy phase because we will be stacking Stand Skill, his Even Defense Wave, and also Close Defense Sacred Seal. So he's going to be doing massive damage with his Ignis. And for his third build, you can run Reprisal Lance from Sumiya. It is definitely an expensive build, but it does give you better raw damage output. And if you want to increase his damage output, then you can just run Chill Defense on slot B. And this is definitely not his best build, it's really expensive. And if you run Calcs, you will see that Slaying Lance and Ignis does give you really similar results to this build because of the fact that how massive damage output he gets from Ignis because of stacking up defensive skills. But with Reprisal Lance, you can certainly get more raw damage output, and it's an option which you can run, so I just listed this for the Silas enthusiast. And his final build is a Distant Counter Berkut Lance build. Now he already has pretty good defense, but he can be made into a better mixed tank by going with plus res IV, Berkut Lance, and Distant Defense Sacred Seal, and he can be pretty good against mages. But the only problem with this build is that it's really expensive, and because he's so slow, he's gonna get doubled by every mage. Against blue mages, some of them can actually one round KO him because they will proc their special. Overall, this banner has got good units and some really fun units like Flora and Ophelia, but in my opinion, none of them are must-haves. Ophelia, although, is the best unit out of this banner, but unfortunately she shares a color with Silas, so for the Ophelia enthusiast, this can definitely come into the play. So you can definitely wait for a banner which Ophelia does not share a color with another unit. But overall, like I said, these are really good units, but none of them are must-haves. You can certainly find a way of replacing them with similar units in the summoning pool, which we already have. And if you really like these characters, which I know a lot of people do for Ophelia and Flora, then you should definitely summon on this banner. But for the people who haven't really decided, you should definitely save your orbs for something like a Performing Arts Azura, which we do have the banner for, or even the Muspel units because they do have really premium skills and they have really nice min-max stats. So that's gonna be it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, then make sure to subscribe for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.